First order of business is let's put this 90-degree fitting on the fuel return line. At the moment it's got a straight connector, so we need this on there. So I've got my AN tools there, and let's hope I can just undo the old straight connector. So I've got the AN6 spanner on there, and then the adjustable AN spanner at the back. Very useful to have one of these in case you have two fittings which each side are the same size. So now I can just wind that fully off, already kind of taken the torque off it and just get that unwound. Okay, back underneath the car. I'm kind of glad I can show you this really, because what you can see is the fuel pipe kind of perishing a bit. Well, he's starting to crack. So this is what always seems to happen with these pipes. They're left out underneath the car and they go bad. But anyway, that's why I'm going to get rid of all of this and going to AN6 for the full route. So what I need to do is unwind this and place on my new AN690. This is the AN690 by Torx. It's the high flow model, and I'll just unscrew that and show you what it looks like. It's worth mentioning this is the Teflon or PTFE lined fuel line kit connection. So this is what I've just taken off. Inside here is a barb that goes to this just normal fuel line, another fuel line, and this is the bit that I've just undone and pulled out. This is the bit that remains on the line. So you have this fitting here, this little olive which goes into the end of the pipe, which if you look at it like this goes like this in there. And I did a whole video of how to fit this pipe. So it goes in there like that, and then this goes on top of that. So all I'm doing is placing like for like essentially. Another thing that's important to say is you need to use this 3-in-1 oil, something like that, just on the threads to slip the whole thing together. So just dab a bit of that, start threading up. You also need to push this bit down the pipe and then thread up these, and we should be all good, going from barb to 90-degree AN6 fitting. So again, I've just used the adjustable AN and the AN6 tool, and place this up in here. See, it's a swivel end, so even though this is tight, it's still able to swivel. That will go up there like that, and yeah, we can place the fuel tank up and in there. Now it's time to get these straps in. It's a lot easier to get these in now. So you can see that's in up there, and the other one same on the other side really. That's a bit of a wrong angle. I'll just bend it around my fingers a bit. Should be better. Just flatten it out. There you go. You can see this one's a struggle we're in. So what you want to do then now, just push them down a bit. So it's going to stay in place, and then get the fuel tank. And the fuel tank is always hard to show you. You're trying to get it on this peg here. That's where the little hoop goes on. I'll show you that on the tank. And then the straps, obviously, now they're in place, go underneath, and then you just basically, those little hook screw things go on here and here. Right, this is the fuel tank. Obviously I've taken off the little protectors here and here. It's the bags I had on it. This is the little hook that needs to go in, and that's what's going, the hoop or whatever, and that's what's going on that hook. And then what I want to do now is slide it underneath the car and hook it on and start connecting all these things up. So this underneath the car, we've got the fuel feed, and then where my finger is, the fuel return. This is the fuel feed that needs to go on there, and just there is the fuel return. I've taken these washers and nuts off these. Again, it's hard to show you, but you can kind of get this slot Oh, there's slots here, that one for that one, and then look at the size of this camera with the microphone on top. You can't really get the whole camera in there with the tank just resting there, so they're kind of roughly in place as well now. My tips for doing the fuel tank job is make sure your fuel tank doesn't have much fuel in it, so it's lighter, easy to manoeuvre. Place these straps in like you saw me do, like so, and then put the fuel tank just resting on them. Place those bent bolts you just saw at the back there with no nuts and bolts on them, and then what you need to do is try and rest this on the little, and it's going to be very hard to show this now, but the little hook that I showed you before. Rest this tank in place on that, and then you're in a good place to start connecting everything up. Almost forgotten, this is a great tip. Get the wiring loom and poke it up through that hole, because then otherwise you might get the whole thing attached and realise you've trapped the wiring loom. So don't do that, poke it up first. You can see I've had to rejig the AN6 lines here, going more towards the wheel rather than straight forward, because it was getting all very pinched underneath there. So I've just had to undo them and put them more to the side. I've got the two straps up in place, not tightened up yet, just wanted to show you the lines. They're much happier now. Going to the left first, I'm going straight forward. Right, we're just about on that peg now, and this is the best way I think of doing this job, particularly if you've got no one with you. So there's the car shampoo bottle, and that's just propping it up, so that means it stays on the peg. Then we can get these straps on nicely now and just bolt the thing up. You can see the straps there, the bottle that's propping the tank up. I'm already in that front hoop there, and here's the bolts there and there, ready for this these straps to get placed on. Tip number 5 is make sure you have the strap the right way around. That was reversed, so I had to go in and take it out there and put it back. Don't do that, you'll waste your time. Anyway, got that in there with the washer and the nut. It's a 12mm. The other side it's just got the 12mm nut because I couldn't get the washer in yet. So I'm going to do this side up, then I should be able to release that, place a little washer up in there because that'll be closer to where it needs to be. Before you go tightening everything up, it's a great time to check that you've got all the wiring. So that's perfect. I can just connect that to there. If it's tucked underneath, you might never get it back and you have to drop the tank down again, so it's a good check there. So I've done that side up. Now I should be able to, well, it's already released, so you can see that. Take this jack down, and that's in there. And then we'll just have these nuts that I use to stop the other 12mm backing off, so put them up there. You can see here I've got the two AN6 lines, and they're leading nicely up into the hole there. Once you're happy with how tight you have the tank straps, you can just wind the nut behind, and that's why you need to make sure it's loose before you start this side. Mine's soaking WD-40 for a bit. Wind that back and then tighten them against each other, and then I'm just going to put another nut on top of the last one so that nothing can come out, just as a safety feature. That's the finished article with both those extra nuts in place. Everything's run. The last thing I need to do is place in those two, the filler neck and the breather pipes. I'll just do that now. There's the two Jubilees in place. I should have really placed that one the other way around, but I had a hard time pushing that on there, so by the time I'd done that I didn't want to redo it. But anyway, now you can see I've just got the two AN6 lines up here. This is the feed and this is the return pipe, and there's the AN6. Then we have the wiring adapter I made before, so that will just plug in there. But first of all I need to get this plate, loop this through here, so and then place this little rubber grommet through there. So I'll do that and just attach it with these 3 screws. That's all tightened down with those 3 screws, and then we've got this little connector, and then we'll just place the rear bench back in. I've just got the rear bench back in. Again, I've explained this a million times, but just got the bolt there, the hooks in the front that go for the carpet, and then this just gets whacked in there with the peg. So this side first, top hat thing in there, and then one of these just to keep it in. There we go, that's the rear bench back in, and all the carpet in again.